Show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am in organization mode, okay? I am constantly organizing tackle, and I wanted to sort of update you guys on some of the new Googan baits that are coming out, and I've already been out. And the thing is, you know, I get these baits and I put them in these boxes. One thing I do like to do, a lot of Googan baits come in, you know, a bag just like this one right here, and a clamshell package just like this. But for me, you know, I normally will grab a box, and I like organizing a lot of my soft plastics in boxes. It just sort of works for me and allows for me to be able to keep everything organized and put them on the shelf over here and see everything and put a little label maker, Googan toad, and you're ready to roll, you know? And so I have everything there. I can keep, you know, backup packages and bulk packages in the back of the truck or at the place I'm staying, but realistically, you know, for a day of fishing, I'm probably not going to use you know, all of these, for sure not, but definitely should be okay on that side of things. Now, diving into some of the new colors and new profiles for this year, but since we're talking about the toad, I have the new Googan Baits toad right here, and some of you might have already fished this. You might have seen these at your local academy, and it's a pretty cool little bait. I've caught a few fish this fall on it before it got too cold to really throw a top water, and it's something that it definitely has a lot more action. This is actually a new color this year too. I'm gonna try this. I think it's called Fire Crawl. Yep, it is Fire Crawl, and so it's sort of almost like an Alabama crawl, but it has like a little bit of like green flake and red flake. So I think that's gonna be actually a pretty cool little color. I've not seen a color like that in a toad, which I'm always looking for like a little edge up, and like sometimes a color that this fish haven't seen, something like this would be pretty awesome. Another thing that I'm looking at this bait, and the way I'm gonna rig it, there's a couple different ways. I'm gonna rig it Texas rig most of the time and reel it around grass and stuff, but don't forget, you know, fishing around bushes and wood and all, and really just straight open water banks and docks. I've thrown a toad style bait plenty around those places, and this has enough action by itself to be good without vegetation. So I think a lot of times the sleeper is not using those toads in places where you wouldn't necessarily expect everybody to be throwing in a toad or there's no grass. Another place that I'm going to utilize this bait is a swim jig, okay? I'm excited to get out and play around with the swim jig, because this right here, when I'm swimming around brush or bushes or wood or grass, and especially when it's warming up in the springtime when the water gets above 58 degrees, that's when I'm really looking at trying to, you know, get a bigger, bulkier profile bait. Those fish are getting ready to get up and get ready to spawn. And so, I want a lot of lift on my swim jig. Keeping it up in the upper part of the water column is a big deal. And you can sort of see what I have right there. It has a lot of bulk, but it also has a lot of resistance. Now, this is not necessarily going to be a top water, even though, now the only thing I did do is I actually cut the toad just a little bit to where it just cut down the profile, down the belly, so that way I wouldn't catch the grass. So another way to use the Googan toad. Diving into another bait that they came out with. They've already had the 5 and the 6-inch Lunker Logs. I use them day in and day out, whether I'm wacky rigging, fishing offshore, all of those things. And the Googans have come out with the 4-inch Lunker Log. Now, 4-inch Lunker Log, I have a box of them because, I mean, at the end of the day, finesse applications, that it's going to be awesome for that. A lot of times for smallmouth, spotted bass, when the bait gets small, or if I'm just getting around really pressured fish, that's when I'm going to throw that 4-inch Lunker Log, whether I'm wacky rigging it, Nico rigging it. Those are the applications I actually can remember back in the day, a tournament where I could not get them to bite anything. And, you know, the little stick bait, like a little 4-inch stick bait like this, I could see them everywhere, and the only thing they would bite was a little 4-inch stick worm. So got a couple different colors. One of the new colors this year is green pumpkin purple, which that thing looks awesome. I mean, look at that. Like, and they have that in the bandito bug. We have that in multiple different shapes of the Googan baits, but it has like a really like pretty pearl, like purplish pearly look to it, but then you have that dark green pumpkin to contrast it. And then some of them like have a little swirl to them. So it's really pretty cool. So like I might, that's what I like about having a little bit of difference in some baits. Some of these will have a little swirl in them. So if the water's real clean, I might want to just use that. But if the water's a little bit dirtier, I have that ones that have a little bit more, you know, purple, where I can maybe have a little more contrast. Another color is the California color, and this is like more of like a California crawl. And basically what it is it's a black neon with a watermelon red. This is one of my favorite colors when I'm fishing stained water, not muddy water, but stained water, because I want to still have like that watermelon red look to it, but then also having that, you know, that black neon really contrast well, and they set each other off. So 4-inch Lunker Log, if you've not seen those, they're definitely out, and definitely going to be definitely a bait that I'm going to use for sure plenty this year. Next, we have the Trench Hog Juniors. Now, these are the Trench Hogs. You might have seen the original Trench Hogs. Let me see if I can grab them. I actually have a whole bunch of my boxes right here. Let me grab, oh, okay. So, I got the regular Trench Hog right here. Now, the regular Trench Hog is a sleeper. Not a lot of people talk about the Trench Hog. I love it for fishing offshore. I love it for a jig trailer when I'm trying to add a little bit of length to my jigs. It's really just a really good bait, and it kicks well. One of my favorite Carolina rig baits. And this bait goes, I think this one's right here is like 6 inches is the regular Trench Hog. So that's the regular one. Now we have the Junior. You can see he's quite a bit smaller, and you know, this is sort of just a little downsized profile, again, finesse. Actually, one of my favorite little flipping baits last fall, when I'm flipping in the fall and the bait's small, I'll downsize from a regular size Trench Hog. Another thing is, like, you know, like in the fall, like in September, like one of like the worst times to fish in the South, this little dude gets bit. Trust me, I flipped it. When the water's super hot, they're eating threadfin shad. The shad are like that big, and the water's dirty, and still like 80-degree water temperature, but like nothing's biting. This guy right here on a 1/4 ounce weight, just flip him around that wood, doink, catch him. So that's cool. They have a couple different colors as well. I have a box of different stuff. I have the California color, California crawl. I have, you know, natural and blue baby, June bug, black blue. Good combination and a good addition to my baits for sure. Definitely what I'm going to throw going forward into the season. I'm excited for that one for sure. Right here, can I give you a guess? It rattles, and it's not a rattling Ned. Googan did it again. The Googan baits made a rattling chunk. This is sort of a cool deal because I've not seen this really in any other soft plastics out there. I think they did a great job with the rattling Ned, which is a Ned rig or a Ned worm that you can throw like Ned, you know, fish around like the Ned style stuff. But this right here is a rattling chunk. Each individual soft plastic has its own rattle in it. So like, I'm really excited about this Alabama crawl color because it's got a lot of orange in it, whether it's a swim jig or whether I'm just pitching it around in muddier water. Like, imagine that, like, all right, orange in the springtime, everybody knows February, like, I'm a big orange fan, like orange, red crankbaits, big deal. Well, the cool thing about that is having a rattle, like a couple issues that I've had with jigs that have rattles in them. The biggest issue that I've had is they fall out or they get in the way of like my hookup ratio a little bit. So this is, you can add a rattle to any jig that you have, you know, and that shape and profile, that crawl color, or in that just big, wide, kicking action that this bait has is perfect for stained water. It's perfect for fishing offshore. And I think that little addition to it, having a little chunk is definitely pretty nice. They have a little chamber right there. And it's, I mean, looks good. Definitely something I'm going to use. And there'll be more on this stuff as the year goes on. I'll bring it up and throughout the videos, but I want to give you guys a good look at the good stuff. So now on to the Bandito Bug Junior and the Kraken Crawl Junior. The Bandito Bug is it's going to be about 3.3 inches long. So it's a little bit smaller than the original. It's, you know, the junior size. This bait already I've caught tons of fish on. And really one of my favorite little jig trailers. The Bandito Bug's action is just unreal, but the thing is, one of my favorite jig trailers to put on the back of a finesse jig, or if I want a smaller profile, along with one of my favorite little punching baits. If you've seen some of the videos I did with Sean Weeda on the channel, I was punching this bait a lot, and it just goes, the thing is when you're punching heavy cover, no matter where you're at in the country, the big thing is sometimes a smaller profile bait getting in and out of those places is the big key in getting bites, because the more you can get, the more clean pitches you can get, the better your chances and your odds go up. The other thing is there's not a whole lot of creature baits that small that have that kind of action. So when it's dropping through a mat, and it's that small a profile, a lot of the other ones are more like gliding, like beaver style baits. And this bait right here has that action to really attract those fish. So cool little bait, definitely even one that I would pitch around along like the Ohio River, some of the places around home, or if like for some reason the crawdads are small, or I'm fishing smallmouth tournament, I'm throwing like maybe a hardhead or a swinging rugby. The same sort of deal. I'd probably put that little sucker on and probably get to wrecking on them. Next in the box that I have them sort of in both deals, is the Kraken Craw Junior, and this is a little bit smaller profile as well. You can tell it's pretty small as well. It's just a junior size. This is more typical, like size-wise, to like more of like a speed craw type. Again, really good for punching, jig trailers, just a down, smaller profile. The other thing that I've been messing around with this guy on is actually Ned rigging him with a jig head. He's small enough, like in rivers and creeks and stuff like that this summer, that it's a pretty good little bait for just that. It's small profile, and really can get those quite a few bites. And then again, they have multiple different colors. That California Craw I have in here, and I obviously picked up the green pumpkin purple as well. So that is another addition to all the plastics. And some of you might have seen these plastics. I'm just sort of going through some of them, because from the first initial rundown of soft plastics that Googan Baits has come out with, they've added a lot to the table, and so I really haven't gone through a lot of that, and so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about it. Last but not least that I have on the table is the larger Slim Shake worm. Now it's a little bit bigger. I want to say the original is like 6. Let me see here. Actually, I have them right here. I want to say they're like 6 1/4. So here's Blue Baby. This is like the traditional Slim Shake, okay? This is like a perfect profile for throwing on a shaky head, everything else. Now, let me open up this guy. This is the 8-inch. You can sort of see the difference in the comparison. It's definitely a little bit larger. I'm really excited to throw this one out offshore, whether I'm going to Nico rig this, throw this in brush piles. It's just a little bit bigger offering, and I really like having a couple different, especially if I'm throwing like on a little bit bigger shaky head, like an offshore shaky head. This is not I would say it's not as big of profile as I would say like a Magnum trick worm or something like that. Because I would say it's similar to it, but it's actually maybe a little bit more finesse. So I think a lot of times showing those offshore schools of fish something a little bit different is a big key. And this bait right here is definitely going to get a few bites this summer. And I mean, this is the thing. I might even throw this on a Carolina rig. It's got enough beef to them that I really feel like it's finessey still, but it's actually, it's got a pretty decent sized profile on him. So I actually throw this color right here quite a bit. This is the natural color. And I sort of think it more looks like a bluegill or like a shad. It has like a little silver on the belly. And then it has like more of like a green pumpkin blue on the top. And I like it a lot for that, but I'm excited to throw it. We're going to see how it goes. I'll go out this summer and we're going to see how that one sort of shakes out. But it's not going to be something like, I could even see throwing that, fishing pre-spawn around certain places, pitching around with a little bit bigger profile worm down there in Florida. I caught a lot of my fish actually last year on Kissimmee, throwing that slim shake worm in a black and blue, fishing around some hard places as well. So really just sort of overview, they have quite a few different new colors out, including this one, this fire, I think it's Fire Craw. I'm pretty sure it's what it was, Fire Crawl. And then some of the colors that I sort of had mentioned, check them out at your local retailer. I'm sure Academy's packing a lot of this is going to the Academy, so check your local Academy for some of these new baits. All right, so that's it. That's the rundown of a lot of the new stuff, the stuff that's actually been out and some of the stuff that's just coming out. There are a few extra things that I'm going to update you on later on when I get some of the new soft plastics in. We've got a few things coming, so look for that on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. See y'all next time.